Bunny Wailer was intensely private about his family. He was married and had children. But he kept them away from fame and media attention. He believed children should grow with cultural pride, spiritual grounding, freedom from celebrity pressure. Family, for Bunny, came before applause. In his later years, Bunny struggled with health issues. On March 2, 2021, the reggae world lost one of its purest voices. Jamaica mourned him as a national hero. Artists across genres paid tribute. But Bunny Wailer left behind more than music. He left behind principle. Bob Marley took reggae to the world. Peter Tosh challenged oppression head-on. But Bunny Wailer protected reggae's soul. He proved that success doesn't always mean visibility. That walking away can be an act of strength. While others chased the spotlight, Bunny guarded the flame. And because of that, reggae remains more than music. It remains truth. If you enjoyed this documentary, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment below. Who do you think was the true heart of reggae? As the Wailers began attracting international attention, Bunny grew uncomfortable. World tours meant long flights, something he feared spiritually and physically. Major labels demanded compromises. To Bunny, reggae was becoming entertainment, instead of resistance. And that troubled him deeply. In 1973, just as the Wailers were on the verge of global superstardom, Bunny Wailer made a decision that shocked the world. He left the group. Not because of ego. Not because of money. But because he refused to sacrifice spiritual truth for commercial success. While Bob Marley went on to become a global icon, Bunny chose the harder road. The lonelier road. And history would later prove that decision defined his greatness. Bunny Wailer didn't disappear. Instead, he re-emerged as one of reggae's most powerful solo voices. His 1976 album, Blackheart Man, is considered one of the greatest reggae albums of all time. The music was raw, spiritual, unapologetically African. He sang about Rastafari persecution, black identity, mental liberation. Bunny wasn't chasing hits. He was delivering messages. Over the decades, his solo career earned him multiple Grammy Awards, international respect, a reputation as reggae's moral compass. Unlike many artists of his era, Bunny Wailer never chased wealth. His estimated net worth ranged between $1 and $3 million, modest compared to his influence. His income came from album sales, royalties, select performances. He rejected exploitative contracts, commercial endorsements, industry control. For Bunny, money was survival, not success. Bunny Wailer lived far from the spotlight. While others lived in mansions abroad, he chose a simple rural life in Jamaica. He spent time farming, studying Rastafari teachings, preserving African traditions. He avoided celebrity culture completely. Rare interviews, few public appearances. To some, he seemed reclusive. To others, he was disciplined. But to Bunny, he was simply free. What if I told you that reggae's most powerful voice wasn't the one who sold millions of records, but the one who walked away from fame to protect the soul of the music? When we talk about reggae, most people immediately think of Bob Marley. Some remember Peter Tosh. But very few truly understand the man who stood at the very heart of reggae's conscience. Bunny Wailer. A founding member of the Wailers, Bunny wasn't just a singer or songwriter. He was the spiritual backbone, the guardian of Rastafari principles, the man who refused to let reggae lose its meaning. This is the story of Bunny Wailer. The rebel who chose integrity over superstardom. Bunny Wailer was born Neville Livingston on April 10, 1947, in Kingston, Jamaica. But his story truly begins in 9 Mile, a small rural village tucked away in Jamaica's hills. The same village that raised another future legend, Bob Marley. As boys, Neville and Bob formed a bond that went deeper than friendship. They shared poverty. They shared hardship. And most importantly, they shared a growing awareness of African identity and spiritual resistance. Jamaica in the 1950s was still deeply shaped by colonial rule. Opportunities were limited. Voices like theirs were ignored. Music became their escape. And their weapon. In the early 1960s, Bunny, Bob Marley, and Peter Tosh formed a group that would change music forever. The Wailers. At first, success was slow and painful. They were often underpaid, exploited by producers, and forced to survive on almost nothing. But Bunny played a crucial role. He wasn't just a backup voice. He shaped harmonies. He contributed lyrics. And he grounded the group in Rastafarian ideology. While Bob had star power and Peter had fire, Bunny had discipline. A quiet, unshakable commitment to purpose. For Bunny Wailer, Rastafari wasn't an image. It wasn't dreadlocks or fashion. It was law. It was faith. It was identity.